La carne hecha en leña sabe mucho mejor y aquí en Tacoles se sirve de esa manera. Te cuento que puedes encontrar botanas súper deliciosas hechas a la leña y unos tacos gigantes que tienes que probar. Están súper deliciosos. Cuento que todos los días tienen especiales para maestros y después de escuela o el after school. Así es que si no has probado Tacolet te estás perdiendo de este manjar. Ya lo sabes. ¡Saludos! La
Hello, good morning. No, it's afternoon. Hello, this is Gigi, La Chicana Guerrero. Thank you for joining us. Today we have a special show. I do want to say that our friend Norma Salazar will not be co-hosting today, but because she's got family in town with her hubby being sick, continued prayers for George Salazar as he recovers from this medical ordeal that he had. So thank you all for joining. And if you are watching us live, saludos. And if you're watching us later, you're watching us on Gigi La Chicana Guerrero on Facebook, Giras y Desveladas on Facebook, Giras y Desveladas on YouTube, or on the Roku channel Tejano TV with Juan Mendoza and Laila Lisa. Thank you all for coming in. Before we start, and I put on our guest, Johnny A. Los TX Plowboys, I'm going to show you what they're about. In case you haven't heard who they are, here's your chance to get to know who they are and what they're about. And this is a great song, guys. Here we go.
De la noche andaba yo en la movida, andaba brincando cerca visitando a mi querida. Estábamos en los hechos, en medio de la pasión, cuando hay no más el marido y ay qué susto nos pegó. Con su pistola en la mano quería defender su honor, yo defender mi pellejo y que brinco al callejón. Me escapé de una esquina, me escapé de milagro, ya ni el polvo me miró, todavía me anda buscando. Adiós, morena preciosa, nunca te echaría al olvido, nunca te volvería a ver por temor a tu marido.
All right, let's welcome to the stage none other than, let me get this remove and add. Here we go. Hello, Mr. Johnny and the Los Texas Plowboys. I
Yes.
know I was confused with that name at first. I thought it was Playboys, and back in the day,
There
that
was there
Los
was fans.
Playboys,
Yeah.
I think Eddie Olivares.
I did
Now
love that. Yep.
Boys, yeah. I was like, nah, and you corrected me. You said it's the Plowboys. So, saludos and welcome.
Saludos, Gigi. Thank y'all for the stations that are putting this up. I really do appreciate the time that y'all are taking to do this for us. We thank you a lot for the work that y'all do, because without y'all, we couldn't do what we do.
Yes, and talk to us. That we've got some saludos and saludos to everybody coming in. We've got Danny Noyola chiming in. Saludos, amiga Gigi La Chicana Guerrero from Alma y Danny Noyola de Corpus Christi. Saludos and thank you.
Yes, I love that.
So now explain to me the Texas Plowboys, that name. Where does it come from? Because I had to be taught what it was about.
Yes. Well, we're my town that I live in right now. It's not too far from where was actually born, in Carter City, Texas. The biggest towns from us is Odessa, San Angelo, Lubbock, and Abilene, Texas. So we're West Texas, what they call us. And our high school mascot's it's a plowboy from our school. I live in Roscoe, Texas. That's where I'm at right now. So, you know, it's a small community of maybe, oh my gosh, maybe 1,200 people now, which is really small. It's not that big, so everybody knows everybody.
Excuse me.
Yeah, I'm telling you. So, so it's a small community, and between um, the oil fields, farming, ranching, and the wind turbines now. That's what we're about. We have a variety of different types of work that ethics, for as a child that you can be in. I mean, I started because my parents had land, and we were farming all the time, and then we started ranching and etc. So, and then my uncles, they're all what we call in the oil field, so. And then I have friends now that are just doing the windmill stuff. So it's growing, with those types of businesses, you know, and especially the windmills. They're all over the place.
They are all over the place. Now, I know it has something to do with music, but um, so all that land that the windmills are now on, what of it? What happens to that land? Can it still be used for something else?
Yes, the rangers still work around them, and or if they're out in the middle of fields like cotton fields and etc. They lease the properties from them, and so they maintain the roadways and etc. So, there's a how would I say that there's a lot that goes into it, but the farmers are still able to work around them, or the ranchers or wherever they're put up. Uh, and so, but there's a lot that goes into it, and hopefully it's helping what they call the environment and stuff. But I'm not really, how would I say it, not informed enough to know how
Right.
much they're producing, and if it's worth the cost, because everything runs on petroleum. To be honest with you, anything with
At
oil,
the end of the day,
everything's made with oil. And people don't see it, but it's there.
yeah.
You know,
Well, I mean, we can only hope for the best, right? And hope that
yeah,
it's actually helping somehow. If it helps in the tiniest bit, that's good.
yeah.
We've got Oscar Vasquez chiming in and calling out Chupacabra Broadcasting.
Hello there, Oscar.
Vicky,
Vicky B. Yeah, it's my
Vicky,
promoter.
saludos,
Yeah.
Vicky.
Hello,
Oh,
Vicky.
happy birthday! Her birthday was
Oh,
yesterday.
yes, that's right. Happy birthday, Vicky. I
Yes,
remember that. Yep.
yes. And she was out there partying. I know. I reached out. Uh, I haven't been partying. If you want to call doing my taxes partying,
Yeah. Okay.
it's
Yeah.
so busy.
That time of year.
It's that time of year, and oh my goodness, there I got 4 businesses to do, so it gets a little hectic. And
Yeah.
so, and I was like, oh my goodness, I need to get a hold of, you. And I was like, Vicky V, I called her this morning
Yeah.
early for a Sunday, like 9ish,
Yes.
and she's like, oh.
Yeah.
We were all late last night. It was her birthday. I'm like, I know, I'm sorry, but I
Yeah.
needed to get a hold of you. So we've got Vicky B saying hello to everybody. And Laura Sanchez. Hi, Laura.
Yeah. Hello, Lada.
Hello and happy birthday. Vicky B says, I'm still here and dim it. So she's in
Oh, gee.
Hermanos. She's still partying. She's
Oh,
still partying.
geez.
And we had Janie Canales out there with her.
Okay. Yeah.
My
Yeah.
goodness.
We'll see, hombre.
So talk to us about Johnny Abrigo. Now, how long have you been an artist? I mean, I'm
Oh,
just discovering the Plowboys. I didn't even know what I thought it was Playboys because never even heard of the word Plowboys. So
yeah.
now I
Yeah.
now
The best way to describe it is that they're the ones that, they're back in the day, they used to have a horse and there's some reins tied to a plow, and they're behind the horse with the plowing rows. That's what they are. And so it was you know how would I say, it's how the land was built and cultivated back in the day.
yeah.
And now they have tractors, so it's not with air conditioning and pretty much GPS that runs by itself.
Yeah.
But
I learned stuff too. Yeah, nowadays, my goodness, technology is amazing. It really, really
it does a
is.
lot. I mean, who would thought that our phones would be a computer? That's basically what they are. I mean, now you can do
I
anything.
know.
You
And who would
know,
think that we can't live without them?
yeah, verdad. It's so sad because I remember I could remember back when I was growing up, we didn't have cell phones, and you had to memorize everybody's number.
Yes.
And now if I lost this thing, like you said, I'd probably be without a lot of information that I really need.
Oh yeah,
So,
not even. I'm sorry to say, I don't even know my daughter. I only have
yeah,
one child. I don't know her phone number. If her
yeah,
face isn't on there to push, my
yeah,
sister, my lifeline, my sister. If
yeah,
I don't know.
yeah, yeah.
Should I should have a little tarjetita with emergency numbers in my purse. You
And I
know,
need to do the same thing. We're all
all it-
guilty. We get used to the like you said, the technology of it. So easy. Well, you just speak to the phone and puts the name and number in there, and you're done.
I
So
know.
you know. But no, I started music about the age of 7. I started. My dad bought me my first accordion around 9, and I started learning the accordion some. I'm not the best. I'm still just learning, and my hats off to those musicians that do know how to play some of those instruments. But recently, I started picking up the bajo drums. I can keep a pretty good beat, but nothing like I said, just enough to where I feel good and I do the job. Now I don't play those. I do mostly singing, but um, I was very fortunate when I first started my first band. It was Juan Abrigo in Town of Fire. And the reason I changed is because we're changing into Texas country. So I wanted to say, I'm going to change the name, something that moves us into that genre of music. And so I've always loved it, and I've been very fortunate to be around some very talented musicians that have a history in this. You know, and when I first started, I started doing some backup vocals with Eddie Gonzalez. Back in late '90s, about the mid of the 2000s, roughly, and then. We always had Richard Descansa. He passed, unfortunately, but Eddie's doing well, and in fact, one of the songs that's on our CD, he's singing in there. And so, but them, the Tex Maniacs, Dave Farias is a good friend of mine, Juan P. Moreno, uh, uh, and Flaco Jimenez, So, I got not only getting the chance to see him and get to know him personally, gosh, from, like I said, in the early '90s, I've known those guys, and so they've forced me and helped me through a lot of hurdles. This industry is pretty harsh, uh, and
Oh my
you know,
goodness.
and it's sad,
Fine.
and it's sad to I'm hoping. we can pull away from that, because there's so much that Tejano can do, and going into the new country stuff, and uh, we need to be more open minded. You know what I mean, and helping each other out as much as we can. And that's what it's about. I'll be honest. I have a lot of faith. I'm not saying I'm an angel, but I believe in God 100%, and He comes first and foremost before anything. Uh,
Yes.
and so we need to show that love and that support to other people that are starting out, because at some point someday, the ones that are legends now are no longer going to be with us,
Yeah.
and we got to give up opportunities to people that are coming in. And people don't understand. They waste a lot of money, a lot of time, a lot of, a lot. It's a lot of sacrifice. Uh, to go
Yeah.
out there and be turned down and say, "Well, no, you're just not good enough," or whatever. Let the people be the
Let
judge of that.
exactly.
Do
That
not,
is exactly right.
you know, and we all know that people have a certain format they have to follow, but it doesn't mean you turn somebody down either. Like I said, I was very fortunate when I was back in my day when I first started. It was hard to get shows or anything, and if it wasn't for Max and them helping me out, and you know, uh, getting to be on stage with those guys,
Yeah.
it would have been hard where I'm at now even. Uh, but
Yeah,
I'm very
it really
thankful.
is. And we were just talking about that. We were in that event I was at last night, which was a little different, but in the same token, somos toda la misma raza, and we should be
Yeah,
helping each other. And that was one of the conversations, was those crabs in the bucket, instead of dragging each other down. As soon as we see somebody climbing up, bájalo, bájalo.
yeah. I mean,
Let's push each other up. You
yeah,
get up there, dale, vámonos, get up
yeah,
there. And then it's
yeah,
somebody else's turn, and then maybe it's my turn, and
yeah,
like that.
yeah.
And porque somos los mismos. We're
Yep, we
the same.
are.
We are. We have the same blood. We
Mhm.
have the same heritage. We have the same ancestry. You
Yep,
know, and
yep. There's no reason we shouldn't be, helping each other out more than what we are. And
yeah,
so that's one thing that I own a restaurant besides playing music, and my professional careers. I do safety. I'm a safety manager for a highway and road and bridge company. But when we opened the restaurant, I mean, the one we have is very legendary for having people like uh, that's the Kevin Fowler and Rick Trevino, all big Texas country. Even Tanya Tucker's been up here. And like I said, we're a small community, but it draws a lot of the ranchers and other cities to come and see these big acts. So when I took the place over, uh, it's hard to start from the ground up, having acts that play that big, and they require a lot of financial backing.
yeah,
So what I told myself is I'm going to get a lot of new artists. Doesn't matter from what, it can be rock, whatever, to
mm,
give everybody the chance to be on that stage,
yeah,
because you never know. You never know who has a certain song or a certain style that they're going to pick up, and before you know it, yes, they're going to the top. But like I said, a way I can do that is by putting them on stage and letting the people hear them. You know
let
what I
the
mean?
people hear 'em, let the people
Yeah.
decide.
Mhm.
Exactly. That's a lot like my podcast. I every now and then I like, why did you have that person on? It's like, I I don't know if they're the next, you
Yeah.
know, biggest
Yeah.
thing. We don't. None of us know.
Yeah.
A chance to everybody, because maybe they're not playing your style, but
Yeah.
it's somebody's
But
style.
it's somebody, exactly.
It's somebody's style. I mean, because that's the thing about Tejanos. We are into everything, and
Mhm.
we're so versatile, and
Yes.
that's why we can appreciate Tejano. We can appreciate conjunto. We can appreciate rock and roll, and we can
And
appreciate
jazz. I mean, there's a
jazz.
lot.
And yes,
You know,
exactly.
all we have to do is infuse it with the next thing, and that'll be the next. You know,
The next thing,
plateau.
let it evolve.
Yeah, let it
Let-
evolve.
yes, let it evolve. I know I love our pioneers. All my heart goes out to them. My dad is a
Yeah,
pioneer, and they are. This is
yeah,
Tejano. That's not Tejano.
yeah,
That's conjunto. That's norteño. That's this.
yeah.
But it's still an art form.
Yes, it's
Form,
exactly,
and
it's
we are
art.
free to interpret it
Hmm.
whichever way we please.
Yeah, exactly, exactly.
You
And we
know.
all have a story. We all been through ups and downs and etc.
Yes.
It's like, and so I found out as as I was growing, that's one thing that my heart's into is music to help not only myself but people that help me and beyond that. People they're not given a shot. You
Yeah.
know, I'm into that. And the other thing I do that I like doing is I started with a friend of mine, David Quintana out of San Antonio, but he was doing awareness, suicide prevention and awareness for military. So I started doing that with him, and then I let off my own. And so that's not to bring a down subject, but you
No,
know,
yeah,
it's mental health is a serious illness and needs to be addressed and all cultures. It's not. It's like drugs. It's not blind to anybody saying I'm never gonna. That's never gonna happen to me. You
yeah,
know. And so, you know, I always give out my number, my email. You know, you're here for a reason. There's no reason for something bad to happen to you. And even if it's to vent, to discuss problems, you know, that's whatever I can do to help you one of my ways that I like to do that as well. You know, we can prevent it and we can stop it and help those in real need because you know sometimes you get where you think that this is the end. I don't have nowhere to go or you know or nothing. You know, but you do. Like I said, God put you here for a reason.
exactly. And I know, like for me, I could. I could say I don't know. I haven't been diagnosed, but I would say I'm dealing with some sort of depression. I mean, my brother, my mom, and my dad died within a 5 year span. How can I not
Yeah,
be?
yeah,
You know, and everybody deals with it different.
yeah.
I have just poured myself into all these projects that I have,
Mhm.
and that's how I'm dealing with it. You
Yeah,
know, some people might think whatever, you know, why'd she do that or what you know, yeah, no, I'm dealing.
yeah,
I'm doing
yeah.
Gigi, and
Mhm.
everybody needs to do that. And I have felt what you say, where you know, like yeah, I mean, like literally, like why am I here?
Yeah. Yeah, we all question ourselves. It's not. It's part of our human nature, you know.
Yeah,
And you know, it's affecting our schools with bullying, and you know, I mean, even you could take Facebook or any social. You'll see it sometimes. People just and you know, you gotta
yeah,
learn how to be respectful to grow up and treat people with respect. You'll get a lot further in life than anything else.
yeah.
But you know, in the same sense you got to be careful because you don't know what state somebody's mind is really in. You know, and that's where things can go really south.
And that's where maybe they were just on the verge, and you put a negative comment on their post. Y vámonos,
Yeah,
that's
you obviously, yeah,
you
and
never know.
yeah,
That's
it's
true. Like
you know,
we all have issues. We all have things that we've all had wrong done to us. We all
yeah,
have the same human experience.
hmm
It's how we perceive it and how we decide to deal
yeah,
with it. That's
yeah,
that's and knowing that somebody like you is there, you know, giving a lifeline. Like I tell you, my sister's my lifeline, my daughter's
yeah,
my lifeline, you know. Um, and some people don't have that.
yeah,
And sometimes you feel like
exactly.
I don't want to stress out my daughter. I want to stress out my sister with my issues, you know, I just want to keep it to myself. Or who do I call her? Who do I tell? Because you can get that.
Yeah, you can, and for me, that's how it ties to me with music is because for me, it's an avenue to express myself, to let myself go and breathe, and I love seeing people being happy, you know, out in the dance floor or you know, you know, it's a
Yes,
beautiful scene, you know, it brings people together, and I think that's another thing that I'm able to do that God's given me to be on that platform to say, hey, you know, and we discuss it and we don't make it a downer, but at the same time we say, hey, you know, this is one focus that we're doing. And so we do that as much as we can when we're out there. And we plan to probably do more, you know, so
that's beautiful. You know what I think? Just with your heart, and when you're doing things de corazón, when you're doing things out of service to others, no, ¿cómo te va a ir mal?
yeah, yeah.
No te va a ir mal. Saludos real quick to everybody that's been jumping on. I had Joanna Peña, and we
Hello.
Juan Mendoza Jr. Saludos,
Hello.
Tejano
So
TV.
hello there.
Yes. And of course, Laura Sanchez was saludos. And let's see,
Saludos, Laura.
Oscar Vasquez says Tejano Fire.
Yes, hello, Oscar. How you doing, brother? I know Oscar. Yeah, he's a good man.
I'm really glad to know you. I know I saw. I know a little bit about you from another interview, and you had spoken about that, and that's actually an issue, especially for a military or ex-military.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. You
So
did both.
I want to thank you, just specifically thank you for just being that lifeline,
Oh,
because
thank
it's not
God.
easy. It's not easy. It's not
Yeah.
easy to take on somebody else's, you know,
Yeah. Yeah.
cloud that they're
Yeah.
bringing.
Yeah. I mean, you don't, like I've been through, I've had PSD, I've had anxiety, and so it can overwhelm somebody. And, if I'm just here just to hear you rant and rave, and that's okay. That's what I'm here for. I'm not here to judge nobody.
Right.
I'm here to give you somebody to be an outlet. You know what I mean? And
Yes.
that's all it is. And I hope that people use it to their advantage. And it doesn't matter if it's 2 in the afternoon or 4 and 5 in the morning. It does not bother me. To answer that call.
You are awesome and you are brave. You are brave to do that. All right. And so we talked about the music being our therapy. You have another one that, hold on, let me put it on.
Okay.
Let's hear this. Let's hear this therapy.
Okay.
Quiero que bailes mi cumbia, que te vengo yo a cantar, porque nomás un besito de ti quisiera yo robar. Yo quiero bailar mi cumbia, yo quiero bailarla ya, con esa linda morena que se hace para allá y para acá. Mira qué bonito mueve la cintura y lo demás. Dos pasitos para adelante, dos pasitos para atrás. Quiero bailar la cumbia, yo quiero bailarla ya, con esa linda güerita que se hace para allá y para acá. Quiero que bailes mi cumbia, que te vengo yo a cantar, porque nomás un besito de ti quisiera yo robar. Quiero bailar la cumbia, quiero bailarla ya, con esa linda morena que se hace para allá y para acá. Pero qué bonito mueve la cintura y lo demás. Dos pasitos para adelante, dos pasitos para atrás. Quiero bailar la cumbia, yo quiero bailarla ya, con esa linda morena que se hace para allá y para acá. Pero qué bonito mueve la cintura y lo demás. Dos pasitos para adelante, dos pasitos para atrás. Yo quiero bailar la cumbia, yo quiero bailarla ya, con esa linda güerita que se hace para allá y para acá.
Woo! I like that's a very, very, very catchy tune.
Yeah. Yeah.
You're talking about liking to see the people happy. I'm sure that's a very happy song.
Yeah. And I'm gonna throw some shouts out right quick. Just to Los TX Maniacs, Max Baca. He's the producer of and the rearranger of the music for me. Him and Josh Baca. Uh, Chris. Que ellos descansan también. Played Tony Gonzalez. Mastered and mixed it, and Joe from Blue Cat Studios. Um, Bobby Flores, que Dios descanse. He was the one that did the fiddles and steel guitar on the album. In fact, I think he was the last. I was the last one that he actually recorded before on his parts anyway, before he passed away.
Wow.
Very talented musician, very talented. Uh,
We're losing
um,
so many
you
good
know,
musicians, my goodness.
yeah, and then Eddie Gonzalez for being on CD. Rebecca Valadez, también Ram Herrera's on there, Flaco Jimenez. I was like I said, I was very blessed with some of these guys that have been in the cinders for a long time. My hats off to them because they're the ones that pushed me. Max and Flock would discuss. We were, I think we were in Lukenbach one time and we were playing something. I was singing a country song and Flaquito goes, "Mijo, I love our heritage and everything." He goes, "But you got to do some country music." so, so, so I said, "Okay, we'll transition and we'll do a." He goes, "Do something like in that genre that I was in with Texas Tornadoes and et cetera." So that's one big reason is because he's a big idol to me también. He knows the ropes and it's been out there.
Oops. You know what? I want to put that one on, the one with Flaco Jimenez.
You
What's
know.
it called? Don't you ever get tired? Is
Yeah,
that
you did. That was one of them. The other one that we did también is just the. Don't you ever get tired of? Yeah, I've heard it. Me. That was one a country song, and the other one is uh, it's with Ram, which Ram did a heck of a job singing on that song. I mean, I happened to be in the studio.
don't close your eyes?
Yeah, he did a heck of a job. That's the Ram. Ram's got that touch, and you can play that one. If you want to play it, it's a really good
Let's do
song.
that one. Let's find Don't Close Your Eyes.
I know you loved him a long time ago. Even now in my arms, you still want him, I know. But darling, this time, let your memories die. When you hold me tonight, don't close your eyes. Don't close your eyes, let it be me. Don't pretend it's him in some fantasy. Darling, just once, let yesterday go. You'll find more love than you'll ever know. Just hold me tight when you love me tonight, and don't close your eyes. Maybe I've been a fool, holding all this time, lying here in your arms, knowing he's on your mind. But I keep hoping someday that you'll see the light. Let it be tonight. But don't close your eyes. Don't close your eyes. Let it be me. Don't pretend it's him in some fantasy. Darling, just once, let yesterday go. and you'll find more love than you've ever known. Just hold me tight when you love me tonight, and don't close your eyes. Don't close your eyes, let it be me. Don't pretend it's him in some fantasy. Darling, just once, let yesterday go. You'll find more love than you've ever known. Just to hold me tight when you love me tonight, and don't close your eyes. Just hold me tight when you love me tonight. Don't close your eyes.
Oh my goodness, who wrote that song?
Oh, that song, gosh, that song was done way back in the day. The composer of that, the composer that llamaba, is under Bob, ¿cómo se llama? It's composed by Bob McOl, I think is how you say his last name. But Toby, I mean, the first guy that did it in country, ¿cómo se llama? Oh, not Toby Keith, como, oh gosh, I can't remember what his, ahorita se me viene el nombre. I forgot to tell you the backup vocalists on some of these country songs. Even some of the Tejanos were Rebecca Valadez.
Yes, it sounds
Shout out
beautiful.
to her. Yeah, she's an amazing singer. Like I said, so
Yeah, I mean that's what I was going when I was going through your album. Let's everybody go through your album together. And guys, you can look for it on YouTube.
mhm,
Um Under Johnny E. Los Texas Plowboys.
mhm.
I'm looking over here on the side. Look at this. Featuring Max Baca, featuring Flaco Jimenez and Rebecca Valdez, featuring again Max Baca and Rebecca Valdez, featuring Ram Herrera. Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
I mean, that's when you said let me collaborate, you weren't the messing around.
Yeah,
Alex
yeah,
Concepcion, Rebecca Valadez. I mean, that is quite a blessing in itself to have so many people, work with you and be on your album like that.
yeah. It takes a lot, but like I said, porque son gente, they're like that. Like I said, they're willing to help out any way they can, and so I, I I can't think of enough even now. And so now it's to get the music out there, and because of that stream, since we barely come on the platform this last year for this new Texas country, um, I can't remember if it's classified as Texas country or Tejano Texas country, but uh, you know we're still new to it, and so we're trying to see what platforms, because like I said, you bring music to the Tejano part, and they're like, "Well, we don't do that part yet," no, but it's already out there.
Yeah, it
So we
is.
need to start playing it. I'm just not just saying for me. I'm saying for everybody. That's already started.
Yeah.
Uh,
I mean, but this goes, I mean, comenzando with Country Rollin' here from Peñitas, Texas. Peñitas, La Joya, somewhere here in the area.
uh,
Um, Country Rollin', even back then he was doing the
yeah.
country in Spanish, and now his grandson is continuing that with Kicker Daddy Legacy. The country is there because, and I learned this from the pioneers as I interviewed them in these shows, that and then the migrant farm workers, pues se iban all over the United States.
Yeah.
So, and there
Yeah.
was no music, there was no Mexican music, there was no Spanish
hmm
music. So a lot of them got to listen and love
hmm
country music. So it's also part
Yeah.
of our culture,
Yeah. Oh,
our
yeah.
history of migrating.
Yes. Yep.
It's
That's exactly right.
a story.
You know,
We have
it's-
a great story that needs to be told.
yes, we have a lot still. It's
Yes.
and like you said, it's just a history that we need to go. We need to have somebody that can write it really well, and do a lot of, how would I say it, research, because there's a lot out there.
There
There
is
is a
a
lot.
lot. There's a lot because there was so many. Like I always like to think of the creation of Tejano, because I talked to the pioneers. I'm talking to Armando Chori Hinojosa from Fabulosos Cuatro, my dad, Juan Guerrero, ¿quién más? Valde Muñoz, Oscar Solís, these
Yeah.
guys
Yeah.
invented Tejano. So, también Johnny Hernandez, el hermano de Little Joe.
Mm-hmm.
These guys invented Tejano.
Yeah.
So, because there was influence from orchestra,
Mm-hmm.
jazz, from rock and roll, from the Beatles, from Elvis Presley, and
Mm-hmm.
then we've got our Mexican music. I mean, it's really amazing. So, also the country is in there too because that's part of our story. I call it. I feel like it was like a renaissance
Mm-hmm.
of music being created at
Yeah.
that time, and now all we have to do is share it, like
Yeah.
help it evolve.
Yeah,
You
help
know,
it evolve. I mean, look what Johnny Rodriguez did for our industry way back then before it was even out. Orlando, what's his name? Orlando Vasquez. Remember that song "Knock Three Times"? If you hear,
yes, 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 yes.
you
And
know, you know, that's back in the '70s, I think.
back in the day, and
So,
there's even more. I know I just shared one last
yeah,
night. My sister, I can't.
Lisa. I'm trying to think of her name. She's
Lisa.
Lisa, way before Selena. I mean, and Selena's, great. And Pobrecitos back then, they didn't know what to do with it, but that woman had sold multi, did some, all her hits were in the top 10
Yes.
easily,
Who didn't hear about Lisa? Lisa?
and it's so crazy that she didn't. I don't think she got the full recognition she should have.
No, she didn't.
I'm trying to think. There's another one que estaba también back in the early '80s and '70s también que they
Have
just
you
blew up.
I know I had sent it to my sister. But yeah, no, there's a lot. There's a lot of Hispanics.
Hmm.
But it's a complicated story.
Yeah, it is.
It's a
It
complicated
is.
story because we were already here. Then the borders crossed us, and
Mhm.
it's a very complicated story. I don't know if anybody's willing to take on the giant story. Now, I do know that on PBS, John Leguizamo has the beginnings of our ancestry before Christopher Columbus
Hmm.
discovered America. And so he has that. Look for it, guys, on PBS. Nobody's paying me for this. It's
I'm
a
about to do that. That's pretty cool.
it is such an awesome story about us, and you'd be surprised.
Wow.
You'd be surprised how much we have done and how much we invented, how much we are such a part of the American story, but our story is not told.
Yeah, it needs to be incorporated because it is part of the fabric that was woven here. You know.
Saludos, George Ben says, "Que hubo saludos,
Hello.
Cali Freestyle Cartel in the building."
Oh, hello también, George. ¿Cómo estás? Good deal. But
Yeah,
yeah, and you're right. That is when and we, it just amazes me sometimes. Like I mean, even from food. The guys that invented the Cheetos, the hot Cheetos. That guy was just a regular worker.
a guy.
you, you know, you know.
But you know what? He wasn't just a guy, as it turns out. He was
Yeah, well,
a Mexican guy.
yeah,
He
yeah,
invented the color TV. Yes,
yeah.
yes. I mean, I really recommend anybody to. I mean, there's so much of our history that's missing that we ourselves don't even know. We don't even know how much we are part of the American story. It's just that our part is not told.
I mean, Taco Bell would not be Taco Bell if it wasn't for the producer that saw what real traditional food was. They just try to make it into a different version to make it fast food. And it's
Yeah.
so I just saw that recently on the Food Network. And I couldn't believe it. I was like, oh my gosh. I mean, you know,
There's
there's a,
we don't even know about our own selves. I mean, and sometimes I think a lot of Hispanics choose not to identify with their own heritage, with
yeah,
their own culture, but it's because we're like I said, it's a complicated story. It's a big complicated story, but we're happy to be in it, and we're part of it with the music.
yes, and that's where we're going.
We're promoting
Yes.
and you doing. I mean, what did I play? Una ranchera, una cumbia, and then a country.
Yeah.
Who else can do that?
Yeah. Yeah. It just
Us.
just whatever you want in your heart and you seek it and you just move forward, pray pray to God about it. And he'll direct your path there if that's what you really want. Put him first, and everything's the doors. Many doors will open.
Yes. And you're right. As long as you're doing it with your heart, as long as you're doing it with uh with good intentions and to help and to serve people,
Yeah.
is all worth it. I think that's what we're here for.
Mm-hmm. Yes, we sure are. Everybody needs to lend a hand at some point, and
Yes.
and so that's one way to do it. And like I said, that's my out. It's always been my outlet, music, and now I'm just using it to incorporate it to help others, in the path that I'm going through. You know.
That's awesome. That is an awesome. But I did that too. I wrote a book, and it's basically because everything that I went through, because I was in a domestic violence situation for 17 years. And so and it started off as journaling when my dad passed away, and it was all this ugliness that was coming out. Then I thought, ¿pa qué? Eso no sirve para nada.
Mm-hmm.
No. So then I started to think of, well, I've survived it all.
Mm-hmm.
And so I need to, and even my daughter was like, Mom, you need to see yourself as a survivor from all that. Yes, that happened.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of ugliness happened, all
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
you know, but you survived it, and you're moving forward, and you're still here.
And you're still here. Yep.
That was where I said, I do need to think of it that way.
Mm-hmm.
You need to be just grateful for waking up every morning. Thank you, Jesus.
Yes.
I woke up. I'm
Yes.
grateful. Simplemente despertarme, ya gané.
Yep.
The rest is gravy.
Yeah, that's true. You take como dice la canción, one day at a time.
Yes,
That's what it's about. It's one day at a time.
yes.
I think that's-
So, where can people who want to hear Johnny and Los Texas Plowboys, where are you performing anywhere soon? Anywhere?
we're performing here on the third here in my hometown because we're doing for Cinco de Mayo or really the 3rd of May because the 5th I think it's on a Monday or Tuesday. I can't remember. But so we're performing here. We're looking at a show right now in Florida, and I think one in Houston and even one in Corpus Christi. So as soon as we get those dates official, we'll start putting them out there. So,
Yes,
so
yes.
and I had a chance to go to Racine, Wisconsin. I had to turn it down. I was transitioning some stuff at work, and then Vicky had put us on for fanfare, and unfortunately, I totally forgot we were going on a cruise. We had to be on a cruise ship. So we happen to be out in those 2 weeks. So next year we'll make it a priority to be to get on there.
Yeah. No,
So
when is that cruise happening?
well, yeah, pasó. It was his last. It was during the fiesta. That's what I couldn't perform there. But yeah.
George Benson says Johnny is an awesome, multi-talented artist, amazing and humble musician.
So George, Lord George, thank you, George. Love him to death. He's an amazing man. I mean, I love being on the show. They're great people.
Yeah. Papuchi, desde Cuba, saludos, querida amiga Gigi, las chicas.
Hello.
Habana, Cuba, y saludos a su invitado Johnny. Gracias,
Hello.
Papuchi, que estés bien allá en
Yep.
La Habana.
Mhm.
George Benson says Vicky V. Limón Cubo Queen. So saludos a también.
Yeah.
All right, so we promised it was gonna be a half an hour show. We thought,
Yeah.
I'm sorry, once you get me to I think that's where since Norma's not here,
Yeah.
stop Gigi. Gigi can go on and on and on.
Yes. Well, before we leave, I'm going to leave everybody my number. Like I said, it doesn't matter what it's for. If y'all want to talk or whatever, don't ever be afraid to take that step out. I mean, I know what I know what uncomfortable is, and I know what being lonely is. In situations. And so, my number is area code 325.
Let me put it down. 325
207
207
8975.
75. You might get a call from me, Johnny.
Well, está bien. My phone lines it's always open to anybody. And like I said, we're here to help, not to judge. We're, you know, God gave us, all the talent and purpose, and that's leading towards Him and to help others. Uh, and I want to wish everybody a blessed day, and hope everybody's doing well. And thank you for this opportunity, Gigi, for being on your show. I really do appreciate you, and all your fellow stations that you told me about just now. I was like, wow, you do have your hands full.
I do. That's why text time is crazy. Yes.
Yeah.
Let's see. George Vincent says, awesome interview. Thank you.
Yes.
And KV says, thank you for the interview. I am beyond honored to
Yeah.
interview you. Such a giving person and such a thoughtful person. Aparte de being talented and have all these crazy collaborations with mega people. Guys, look out for Johnny y Los Texas Plowboys
Yeah.
on all digital platforms.
They're all on all digital platforms.
all digital
Yeah.
platforms. And on Facebook they can find you también?
Yes, Facebook also también. We're on Instagram. Vicky V, she's my promoter. If y'all need anything también, we'd be glad to get you whatever you need. You just, when you have time, me mandas to an address so I can send you some CDs. I'll send you so you can have them on your show and you can, push them out as, trivia or however you want to do it. Leave that up to y'all. But,
Yes, definitely. And I like I said, I feel blessed. A ver, cuando voy para tu restaurante, what's the name of your restaurant?
Oh.
Plug your restaurant.
The name of the restaurant's called Hicks at the Lumberyard.
Hicks at the
Lumberyard. Yep.
I might not fit in.
We serve all types of food there. So, if y'all ever want to come down and enjoy some really good food, you'll enjoy it. We have a really good cook, and I started off to doing the cooking because that's how I always wanted to do it. But I told my wife, "Are you sure you want me to own a restaurant? Because it's really time. Because you're married to that, to that,
Yes.
that restaurant."
Yes.
But gracias a Dios, 'cause I've been blessed with some really good people that are working for us and helping us out. And so it's going. It's también the restaurant business is up and down. It's one day at a time. That's how we do it.
Oh,
And
yeah.
so,
I think everything right now is kind of, but
but we're also on Facebook on there as well, and y'all can look at the food that we have and etc. So you'll
especially a lot of our artists that crisscross back and forth.
Yes. Yes.
You know where to stop, right?
Yeah, and they stopped. I mean, we've had Sunny recently come. Maybe it's been longer than a year, or not even a year. But in fact, this time last year, Sonny came to play here at an event, and he came to my restaurant. He goes, "Man, you serve some really good food."
Oh,
Good, man. So he's eating there.
There it is. There it is.
So.
Well, I want to thank you again, everybody who joined us live. Thank you very much.
Thank you, everybody, también.
Later, Facebook, Gigi La Chicana Guerrero, Facebook, Giras y Desveladas, YouTube, Giras y Desveladas, and on Tejano TV, our channel, Giras y Desveladas with Juan Mendoza and Laila Lisa Mendoza. Thank you guys for watching. Have a blessed Sunday. Cuídense mucho. We'll see you. Next week is Easter Sunday. I'm actually going to pre-record with Maricela Hernandez, who's doing the tribute to Laura Canales.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I know that's going to be a good one, but we're not going to go on live because I'm going to respect everybody's
Sunday. Yeah, I understand.
Everybody's thing Easter, but I will record it on Thursday, I believe, and then I'll play it on Sunday so y'all can just watch it as you go. What does it say? Mary Lou, my sister, she didn't realize what time it was. Manny Rivera, question: what app do you use to get the 2 cameras interview? Hi, Manny. I'm using StreamYard. And it's kind of like a Zoom. For anybody else that wants to know, I'm no expert. First of all, my middle name is Technical Difficulties. But I use StreamYard, and there's some people use Restream. And it has a lot of options there. So it depends. Like if you want the free version, of course, you get less options and so on and so forth. So look it up, StreamYard. So if you want to do your own show, Manny. So yeah. And the more the merrier, right? By the way, so Giras y Desveladas was nominated for podcast of the year with the
Wow.
awards. Thank you to everybody that chimes in. Thank you to Norma Salazar, who is just always there. I mean, does not skip a beat, and she stops me from talking and asks really good questions. So, saludos a todos, and thank you. So, I believe on the 15th is time to vote. If you want to vote for Giras y Desveladas,
For sure.
right ahead.
Yeah.
But what
For sure.
I feel like we were already nominated. I feel like we're all winners.
Mhm.
We're all winners because we're all pushing the industry. We're all promoting the industry. We're
Yep.
all winners. And just to have my name up there with all those other podcasts that
Yeah.
have been on for a lot longer, I am very honored. So I'm already
Yeah.
happy.
That's a
I'm
blessing for you. Very
Yes,
good.
it is a blessing. Also, I was nominated for Uprising Female Artist for Me Voy a Casar. If
Wow.
you want to vote for me, go right ahead, but the competition is pretty stiff. I recommend.
Wow. Wow. Well, congratulations, Daniel.
For Gigi, go right ahead. But like again, I do feel what an honor to be with all those
Yeah.
other artists. I feel I'm already a winner, and then that's what about going through life with an attitude of gratitude.
Mhm.
Hey, that rhymes.
Yeah, ¿verdad? Mira, that's where you get the poetry from.
That's it. I'm a poet and didn't know it.
Yeah.
All right, guys. We'll see all you guys. Maybe we'll stop by Johnny's
Restaurant, yeah.
sometime. And look out for Texas Plowboys wherever they're performing.
Yeah.
Saludos a todos, blessings, and y'all take care. We're gonna
That's
go
it.
with our outro and then out.